We live. We going through. So I think we live. I think we good. What's up, everybody? It's been a minute, hasn't it? It felt like forever, right? As y'all guys know, this ain't my normal scheduled live, but I couldn't wait till Tuesday to rock out with y'all. So I said, you know what? And I didn't really want to make a video. I wanted to do something more interactive. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, so the video would have been crazy long. So I wanted to, get back in the groove, get back into the live stream, and just talk about the topics. Of course, we're coming back Tuesday, 60 frames, no lag. You guys know, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You guys know. But I missed you, dudes. Just a couple of things I had to take care of over the last 2 weeks that kept me away from home. And that's pretty much why I wasn't able to have a podcast this past Tuesday and prior to that. But now things are back on track. I'm looking forward to next week's podcast with the crew. I miss the crew. Craig, what's up, brother? Miss you. Jay Barry. Project. Call me Jay. Everybody that comes through to rock out. I'm glad you're here. But I want to talk about these topics real quick. And give my thoughts and opinions. I don't know if these will be the topics for next week because, we got a long weekend or whatever. So it'll probably be already out of rotation. Maybe some new things will come up. Maybe not. And stuff like that. How do you join the Discord? Here, I'll send an invite. Let me send the link. I'll put it in the chat. Let me set up. All right. I don't really do much in the Discord. I'll be honest. I'm a terrible Discord manager. Pretty much everybody be doing everybody. But there is a Discord for people who wanna, rock out on a Discord. It's also a great way if you want to, hop on the podcast. Because as you guys seen, I encourage anybody if they want to get behind the mic. I have no problem with that. More voices. And Brian Rios, he became a member, man. Appreciate it. Welcome to the 60 FNO fam. I plan to do great things for you guys, for channel members, right? The first step is just me getting a proper setup. There'll be no tiers. I think I'll probably do a separate live or video discussing what I plan to do. But ultimately, it's not no tiered system, whatever. This is the only the plan that you guys see is the only plan that will be there, and I'll just keep adding just more and more stuff to it and stuff like that. The one thing I won't do is any exclusive content in terms of videos or exclusive videos. I always said from the beginning, when it comes to the actual videos, whether it's live or recorded, I want everybody to have access to it and to enjoy it and stuff like that. I don't want nobody to feel like they gotta pay for something and stuff. There's no subscription service for that. But for the members that do sign up, I want to make sure you guys just have stuff that you can mess around with, have fun and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to come up with creative ways. And then also I'll eventually redesign the channel just a little bit more. To give you guys more recognition. I'm trying to figure out all the little fancy stuff. Little sound indicators. When a channel member shows up, you get like a little introduction. Things like that. You know what I'm saying? But nothing that excludes the rest of the community from the actual main content of the channel. I want to make sure. Wow, Wolf, I'm glad. Oh, you did Salty's podcast? I'm glad you showed up and stuff like that. If you guys don't know, yesterday I was on Salty Gaming's podcast. It was great topics and stuff like that. So check it out. Hope you appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it. But I'm glad you guys are here. Shout out to the chat, man. You guys are awesome. Really missed you guys. Who we got here? Trent Miller, Brian East. What's up? Briar, of course, and also part of the family. Adu Wiggles was good. Plus Ultra, Captain Ply. Of course, Craig, panel member, was good. Action, Asan was good. Sound like a superhero. Cloud Strife, what's up? The Brain. Yeah, everything's good. When did you start the video? I didn't even see it. I just started now, so I hope notifications aren't messed up. But I just started it now. Just went live a few minutes ago. Wild Wolf, welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed me, guesting on Swtich's podcast yesterday. Steady Flow was good. Accurate was good. Captain Crunch, grand opening, grand closing. Brian East. Our work left, and then hit the gym. That's it. After this, I gotta clean up the room a bit, and then I'm gonna hit the gym. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get that pumping. Anima Station was good. Dadley Pierre, what's up? Anyway, appreciate if you guys hit the like button. While you're at it, tweet this out. I already tweeted my portion out, so you could retweet that, whatever, get everybody out there. I hope the notifications are fine. I know this was a last minute thing, or not really last minute, but on the spot thing. It's not the usual consistent, but no, Tuesdays will be consistent. 60 frames, no lag. You know how it be. 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Stuart Stokes, you had intervention for M2K yet? Rest in peace, Stadia. I feel bad for my man, 2K, man. He was so excited for the future Stadia. I was like, I don't know, bro. I knew that was not gonna work out, man. I'll do a little soft topic. Here's my thing. So when this whole cloud thing, even when Sony announced it, this whole cloud thing, on live, all this stuff, anybody who kept bringing up cloud, my number one question was, so the F what? So what? And what I mean by that is, you don't need hardware. So what? I have no issues with hardware. If I'm sitting down in my room, all of us, picture all of us. You're in your house, wherever you play video games at, living room, your own bedroom, man cave. This is my man cave. I got my own little space, and I got a controller. Right, where my controller's at? Right? And I'm doing this. We're all doing this. We're just playing. What does it matter if this is connected to actual hardware or connected to the TV? What difference does it make? It makes no difference, right? So none of us really, I never seen the, how would you say, the movement of hashtag no more hardware. You understand? I didn't see that. I have no issues with buying hardware. Okay? So that's problem number one. Then problem number two, more often than not, for most people, it actually, playing games on cloud was worse than playing on hardware. So now, I have no issues with hardware, and then the actual environment of cloud sucks. Most games have latency. Obviously, you don't have options to own physical, and it's 100% reliant on the internet. At least with hardware, you can play single-player games whenever your router messes up, or maybe your internet provider is on BS, whatever. So there was no advantage of that. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And that was the main thing I saw. I'm like, this cloud shit is not make things better than what I already got at home. In fact, arguably, it is actually a worse experience in almost every way. The second advantage is, you could take games on the go. Well, I don't give a damn. You think I spent on a 55-inch TV to play games on the go? No, that doesn't sound right to me either. So if I wanted games on the go, the phone already does that. The Switch does that. Handheld's been doing that. We need more, And cloud gaming has done nothing to really separate itself from native hardware, right? And then what's even worse, Stadia decided to shut down their first party. So if there was any chance that Stadia had any chance, was games. And that's why I constantly remind you all and everybody, at the end of the day, gaming platforms live and die off the games, bro. That's really what we look for. We look for mostly for games. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got the games, then all that other stuff doesn't really matter. I know people on the internet try to pretend, nah, man. We all about the games, one way or another. You know what I'm saying? But that thing was, after Stadia collapsed, Matt Piscatella, let me see if I can find it. He said that all cloud services combined, that means Microsoft, Sony, anybody who's, Nvidia, anybody who's providing some type of cloud service gaming, for games combined, didn't even reach 1% of the market. You know what that is? Not even 1%. You're talking Luna, and at the time Stadia when it was active, what Microsoft's doing with xCloud, what Sony's doing with PSN now, Nvidia Shield and stuff like that. All that stuff combined, already available on phones, PCs. Amazon Luna's available on TVs with their cloud, with their Fire Stick. All of that. And not even 1%. That's crazy. iPhones, there's over 1 billion iPhones in the world. And xCloud is playable on every iPhone. Obviously, countries, right? But let's say there's got to be at least 300 million people that has access to xCloud. Meaning access. Not meaning that they're using it. Just if they knew, they would have access and they could do it, right? And how many subscribers Game Pass has? 25 million? iPhone alone should be pushing 60, 70 million subscribers. Just iPhone alone. Let alone now throw in Android. Nobody cares about that. No one cares about that because no one has an issue with hardware. Cloud needs an oomph. I know the other thing. Well, the mobile gamers don't give a. We gotta be honest. Mobile gamers don't care about our games. They know about our games. A lot of the mobile gamers are parents, siblings, best friends, and they know people that play video games. They know people that own an Xbox. They know people that own a Switch or a PlayStation. They know these games. They've been around. Hell, some of them bought them as gifts for other people. They just don't care about it for themselves. They don't care about playing God of War for themselves or The Last of Us or Halo or Gears. They just not into that. They want to pick up their phone and they want to use one finger and play a game like this, or their thumb and play a game like this. That's the type of phone games to do that, right? They want to play the type of games that if they lose a level, the game offers for $3 5 more turns to play. And they gladly will purchase whatever pack so they could get those 5 or 6 extra moves to complete the level. Shit that would not fly for us, Or if the game goes, you have to stop playing, but for $5 you could keep playing for another 3 hours. If not, you have to wait 12 hours to resume. Those weird ass money grabbing games. Phone gamers love that stuff. They play with one finger. It's quick. It's easy. They don't feel like they have to get good because they're not interested in that stuff. They feel accomplished. It's a totally different community, a totally different, a totally different social environment of gamers on phones. They don't translate well. So you try to take those gamers and try to say, hey, we now provide you access to, Halo. Oh, by the way, you got to get a backbone controller and learn how to play with 2 analog sticks. And when they're used to with one finger, come on now, we got to be real. Not everyone's going to like our games. Our games are easily accessible. There is no barrier to gaming because anybody could just simply go up and buy the hardware, especially when it comes to consoles, Now, obviously, it's a little bit tougher, mostly because of, shortages, and the demand is incredible, but eventually everybody who wants consoles will get a console. We got to stop pretending, we got to stop. A lot of these gamers don't really mean, and I'm going to segue, this literally segues into the next topic, but this generation, I have to say, it's just sad, but I'm just going to have to admit it. There is so many full of shit gamers in this community who are nothing more than product placement ads for the brand. That's all they've become. They don't actually have original thought, and they don't actually mean what they say. They just repeat advertisement brand as if they're part of the success of a console brand. They I don't know. Just my impression is they're trying to put in the work thinking that their effort is going to help lead to their favorite brand being successful. And it's just wild that it's come to this, It's just absolutely wild, right? Let me just go into the first image, right? We'll start with Horizon Zero Dawn remaster remake. And this is a rumor, right? I'm just gonna tell you my point first. And most of you probably already heard it multiple times. It's nothing new. I feel personally, just on the personal note, that PS4 games don't really need remastered remakes. They look really good. Maybe some patches to get the game to 60 frames, maybe even to 120 frames, and I think people will be happy enough with that, right? Okay, I think that's that, right? I think PS3 games, PS2 games, PS1 games would benefit more from an actual remake and stuff like that. Okay, that's just my personal view, but I completely understand that when Sony makes these remakes of PS4 games, you have gamers on PlayStation 5 that are buying and playing these games. I'll use The Last of Us 1 remake, for example. I didn't buy the remake. I felt it, it wasn't going to do anything much for me, right? But I remember seeing a tweet where all the gamer did was post the end credit and the platinum trophy. And the gamer's like, platinum, really love the game. It was The Last of Us 1 remake. And that tweet got like over 5,000, 6,000 likes and like over 300 retweets, which all of them were positive. That is a lot of traction, And what that tells me is gamers wanted that remake. And at the end of the day, when these remakes are offered and people are buying it, that's how the consumer market works. Companies attempt to sell a product. If consumers buy it, then the company's going to keep making it. And then the consumers keep buying it, Now, I don't have a heartache, right, with a Horizon Zero Dawn remaster or any remaster on a PS4. I already told you my personal opinion, but that's not the same as me having a heartache or me going to cry about it or I'm going to be pressed or stressed or it's going to keep me up at night. It doesn't really bother me only because I can't complain. Well, let me read this. It will only bother me if it interferes with what I want. And what I want is new titles, new content, and great first-party support. I don't have a problem with that this gen because PlayStation, this gen, within the first 2 years of PlayStation 5, have been doing it better than they ever been. They have provided more new games, more new content from a first-party perspective than what they have done within the first 2 years than what they have done with their previous consoles. Remember, the PlayStation 4 was sparse. I didn't even buy the PlayStation 4 until 2015. The console launched November 2013. And when I saw the library lacking, I'm like, I'm not buying this. All throughout 2014, lacking. I didn't get my PS5 until Bloodborne came out. Finally, something that was there, right? And then by that point, you started seeing the announcements of what Sony was really going to do. But I didn't buy the PlayStation 4 until February of 2015. I was kind of pissed because if I would have waited a few more months, I would have gotten the Batman bundle. When Arkham Knight came out, I think in June, I was like, fuck, I could have had excuse my language, I could have had the Batman one. But besides the point, that just proves Sony didn't have them. You go to the PS3, they didn't have much. When they launched with MotorStorm, and you guys know how I feel about racing games. Resistance was good. Genji, hit them in their weak spot for massive damage. Like, what the hell? What else? I mean, PlayStation, man, I honestly cannot remember from the first party's perspective what they had. Warhawk? I think that was pretty good. I could remember was Warhawk and Resistance for like the first year or so. Because Killzone 2 didn't come out till 2009. So that was like forever. Like, what was the first 2 years of PlayStation 3? Super Stardust, maybe? I don't know, man. Like, you see what I'm saying? The reality is, Sony didn't have much the first 2 years from a first party perspective. And then when you look at the PS2, again, from a first 2 years perspective, didn't have much. All I could think of is SOCOM, which was awesome. Twisted Metal Black. Maybe a sports game? Because all the big hitters of the PlayStation 2 within the first 2 years were third party. Devil May Cry, Red Faction, Final Fantasy X, Metal Gear Solid 2, Grand Theft Auto 3, the creme de la creme, Silent Hill 2. You know, notice how I'm spitting third party stuff. But from the first party, like within the first 2 years, Sony always had that problem of not releasing a lot of first party content in the first 2 years. You can't say that with the PlayStation 5. So even with all these remakes, Sony's pushing games still. So it's not a resource issue. So as long as Sony's coming out with the good stuff, the new stuff, the new IPs, the remakes don't bother me, right? And this is where my first point coming in is I can understand within the PlayStation group just be like, man, you know, whatever, having issues, whatever. But what the group I don't understand from an audacity perspective is the Xbox gamers. They're the ones I'm thinking, when I see Xbox gamers on Twitter complaining about this, I'm like, yo, these dudes got the largest scrotum sacks I have ever seen on the internet, because these motherfuckers are literally complaining about something that when in reality, like, let me make my point. If I was an Xbox gamer, I would not talk shit about any remake that PlayStation made. That would not be a battle that I would try to partake in. Not on any level. And the reason why, if I was a primary Xbox gamer, the way I would look at it as, even with these remakes and these announcements of remakes, Sony still managed to make more new games than Xbox. And Xbox is not doing nothing. Xbox doesn't even get remakes. Not even that. Like, can you get a remake of Halo 3? A remake of the original Fable? A remaster of Fable? A remaster. Can I get a remaster of the original Fable? Can I get a remaster of Halo 3? You know, like, you know, something. Can I get a remaster of Lost Odyssey or Blue Dragon? Like, you know, a remaster of Crimson Skies. Like, you know, for racing fans, remaster of Project Gotham. You know, not even that. Like, none of that's coming out. Like, nothing. You're not getting remakes and you're not getting new games. It's like, you know, that's how I would look at it. I would be like, yo, I'm going to keep my mouth shut, because even though Sony's doing these remakes, they still made new games for their console. While Xbox, we're not getting nothing, right? When next year, Xbox gamers, this is how I would look at it from an Xbox gamer. Sure, you're going to, you know, potentially, knock on wood, everything goes all well, you'll get Starfield, Redfall, and the new Forza, right? And that's what Xbox gamers are going with. But me as an Xbox gamer, let's say if I was a primary Xbox gamer, I still wouldn't talk shit. Because I would be like, all right, 2023, Starfield, Redfall, Forza. And that's a good lineup. We're not going to knock, you know, the good lineup. But I would say the only reason that I can talk shit about Redfall and Starfield is because Microsoft bought Bethesda. So that automatically became titles of 2023. If Microsoft didn't buy Bethesda, what would I be talking about from the actual native first party that's been there for Microsoft? That's been there since last gen. The only actual game that's coming out next year from Microsoft's core first party studios is Forza. If it wasn't for the acquisition of Bethesda, that's all they would be preaching right now. And I would be like, holy shit. If Microsoft did not buy Bethesda, it would really only be Forza for 2023. Out of everything inherently Microsoft owns since last gen, Forza is the only thing they actually gonna have something ready. If it wasn't for the purchase of Bethesda, and pretty much, let's admit, Redfall and Starfield, those games were already in development. You know there's PS5 versions of that. But because Microsoft bought Bethesda, they're not releasing, they canceled those versions. Those games would have been multi-plat on PS5 if it wasn't for the acquisition. So natively speaking, it's just Forza in 2023. That's how I would look at it as an Xbox gamer. Like, yo, this shit is wild. Microsoft only has content next year because of a purchase, not because they got their shit together and they actually plan to provide content for their console. So how these Xbox dudes are talking trash over PlayStation remakes when Sony making these remakes are still pushing more content, bro. It's wild, bro. This shit is crazy. Like, I don't know, man. This is wild, right? It just trips me out, you know. Then on top of that, right? So ultimately for Horizon Zero Dawn, Sony's still making new content, and you got gamers that want to buy these games, right? I think the only saving grace, well, I ain't gonna say the saving grace. It's not even saving grace. One thing that I am interested, just taking a look at it, is the multiplayer. But I'm not gonna buy this game for the multiplayer. I hope they have an option maybe for Forbidden West gamers who bought Forbidden West to purchase the multiplayer, or if it gets included, how would they worked out? I just hope that if Sony is attempting a multiplayer game, it's very fleshed out. They put some effort into it. Maybe something similar to Monster Hunter. I think Horizon Zero Dawn world, you know, very fleshed out as a MMO, would be very successful. I think it would be very popular because the creatures are awesome. The combat system's good, but I think they need to expand to different characters and stuff like that so you can make it more fun. That way it's not 4 versions of Alloy and the only difference is aesthetics. I think something unique and attributed, very fleshed out, you know, something similar to how Monster Hunter picked success. I think they could pull it off if they really put good effort into it, and I think that would be very welcome. If this is one of those planned live service games, then I don't think that's too bad. Something unique like this, even though it's live service, I don't think that's too bad, right? My concern with live service is mostly just multiple shooters and battle royale. But if they're trying to do unique stuff, I could see, and I could be down with that. The Vegeta 90, he says, Microsoft spent billions with no new AAA games. Why do bots keep talking? It is mind-numbingly dealing with these dudes. I'm telling you, man. It's just, yo, like, and I'm going to talk more about this towards the end. Quick question. Is the sound good? I know my last couple of videos, or live, really live, I know some people said I was way too loud as compared. And I know I don't have anybody else in the panel, but is the sound good, or am I way too loud? You know, I try to adjust the levels. I'm just trying to make sure. Okay, good. I'm trying to make sure because I know some people are on earbuds and they just, you know, and I appreciate the comment. Listen, if something's wrong with my podcast in terms of sound or stunting, please let me know. You know, I don't take it as butthurt. Yeah, but I don't want y'all wearing your Beats and you're wearing your earbuds, and all of a sudden, you know, my Puerto Rican voice comes out, and all of a sudden you guys are deaf, and now, you know, I'm not trying to mess you guys up. All right, good. The general consensus is you guys are good. All right, I'm gonna tip on this towards the end, but yo, stuff is sad in this community, but you know, at the end of the day, we get the games. This leads into with the Last of Us remake. One of the top downloaded games on PS5, 3 in fact. And when you think about it, when you're behind FIFA and 2K, you did good, right? Because NBA 2K is hugely popular and FIFA's popular. What's cool is you see the Western side of the globe, NBA obviously more popular than soccer or football, you know, European football, 1 and 2. But then Europe, it flip flops because NBA is still popular in Europe, but obviously, you know, football, you know, European football, soccer, that's the go-to sport. So, but as you can tell, these sports games are tremendously popular. Sports games have always been popular in gaming. It's because it's like the most, how would you say, competitive and something that ties into what we love anyway when we watch sports. So sports fans love sports games. They will always sell great. They will always be popular. So for The Last of Us remake to take third, it just shows there's a lot of gamers that just interested in that, and that's what pushes the effort for Sony to make more remakes. The only real concern we would ever have as gamers is, does this interfere with new IPs, new content, and Sony just bringing new stuff? And again, like I said, that is not the case. In fact, in terms of new content, Sony's doing it better than they ever did since the PS2. They have provided more new content from a first party's perspective compared to the PS4, PS3, and PS2. So we really we really can't pretend to be angry at something when they're actually doing it better than the previous consoles. Now, some people are going to be like, whoa, on the previous console, I got this, this, and this. Like, whoa, time out, slow down. Because now you're taking 7, 8 years, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8 years of content on the previous console. PS5 has only been out not even 2 years. This November will be 2 years. So you can't compare 7 years of content versus 2 years of content. You have to align what the time periods are. So with PlayStation, 2 years. I mean, PS5, 2 years. So how did the first 2 years of PS4 look? How did the first 2 years of PS3 look? How did the first 2 years of PS2 look? Make that comparison. You know, now over time, as PS5 hits 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, then we can widen the parameters. But right now, based on the parameters of PS5, this is the best PlayStation has ever done. Period. Which is incredible, even with the remasters. Right? So that's as long as new content is not inhibited. These remasters don't mean much because at the end of the day, don't buy it. Like me, I didn't buy The Last of Us Remake. Now, does that mean I will never buy The Last of Us Remake? You know these games are going to go down to like $15. We know it. Let's stop playing. You know, PlayStation games, you know, don't stay expensive. They're not like Nintendo games. They don't stay $60, $70 forever. They will go down to 30, 20. By the time you know it, you're going to see. Hell, don't be surprised if it ends up. It most likely will definitely end up on the premium tier of PS Plus, but don't be surprised if it ends up being a free monthly game as well, you know, years down. So don't even worry about that, right? But yeah, let me go on to the next topic. So shout out, you know, to Heartache. So Dead Space Remake is officially $70 on console, and you know, Heartache's like, he looking around. He like, yo, y'all not gonna say nothing? Because Heartache, he's gonna get on PC, and PC is $60. That's what's crazy. The PC version is $60. The console version is $70. So Heartache's obviously gonna get on PC, but he wants to see all this outrage of $70 keep going. You know, like, yo, let's go. Nobody's doing it. Nobody's saying nothing. Not even the $10 difference. Everybody's calladito. That means quiet. Really quiet in Spanish. I don't understand. So I replied, I'm like, bro, you're only going to hear noise on $70 when it's made by Sony. It's got to be made by Sony. As long as it's not made by Sony, it's perfectly fine. Hell, it could have not even been a remake. It could be a Xbox 360 port of Dead Space going onto the Switch, and they charge $70, and it would have been fine. Nobody would have problems with it. There would be no issues. Just port the 360 version to Switch, put $70. People will buy it. And if you try to bash it, people will make excuses. Oh, but it's portable. Oh, $70 for portability. You see what I'm saying? And people are trying to tie it to The Last of Us. Oh, it's different Last of Us. No. Because I won't even use The Last of Us. I'll use Demon Souls. Because Demon Souls is the same exact situation as Dead Space. It is a PlayStation 3 game. Or, obviously, Dead Space is multiplat, right? So, there's a 360 version. But it's a 6th generation game. Or, 9th gen, 8th gen, 7th gen. It's a 7th generation game. Demon Souls was a 7th generation game. Remade for the 9th generation of console. And people still said that it wasn't worth $70. Oh, these games $70. I don't see nothing that's worth the $70. The graphics, whatever. It's up res. But with Dead Space, perfectly fine. Built from the ground up. All that. All the things that was said about Demon Souls that was not accepted is the same exact reasoning or the same exact reasons being used for Dead Space, and it's being accepted. I'm telling you, there is a huge portion in this gaming community that is just full of trash. It's full of shit. Like, dudes are full of shit. Like, It's embarrassing, bro. It's absolutely embarrassing that at this point you can't even. There's no consistency. And like, listen, I'm not against people complaining about $70. It's they're picking and choosing when $70 is fine. That doesn't make sense, because if you have acceptance of when $70 is available, then you just open the door for other people to do the same thing. Like, you can't decide for other people when $70 is acceptable. You know? It doesn't make sense. Like, yo, this is crazy, man. Like, this is wild, right? Hypocrisy. Exactly, Wild Wolf. It's like, yo, at this point, I'm gonna be honest. Anything that the community's outraged, I'm gonna be like, y'all full of shit anyway, so stop it. I'm just gonna be like, y'all just full of shit. Shut the fuck up. I mean, that's gonna be my stance from now on. Y'all just full of shit. Shut up. Just go play your games. Like, shut up. Stop it. Stop with this nonsense. Y'all not really mad. Everybody's just trying to, too many people just trying to provide free advertisement as if they're responsible for the success of the complete platform. Yo, it's just insane. Like, stop it. Cut it out, right? And let me show you. And then to me, this is what really nailed it in the coffin. Skyrim on Switch. You remember the joke I was saying about Dead Space? This is the reason why I said the joke about Dead Space. That they could port the 360 version of Dead Space, put it $70, people be fine. Because pretty much, this is Skyrim. $70 on the Switch. On the Switch. And people had the nerve, the scrotum sack to go on my timeline and actually, well, it's remastered. Are you out your freaking mind? Remastered and Switch have no business being in the same sentence. Remastered on the Switch, where it has hardware weaker than the Xbox One, is not an impressive feat. That's actually downgrade. You actually downgraded from Xbox One version. Remastered on Switch means version worse than Xbox One. Like, that's not even a compliment. That's like literally saying, yo, in other words, it's worse than the OG Xbox One. Not even Xbox One S, which had a 10% performance boost. No, it's worse running than the OG Xbox One. Remastered on Switch means inferior performance and graphics than Xbox One. That's worth $70. Oh, but it has all the content. The content is old. This is not like new next gen, 9th gen content. This is shit that's been available for years. Remastered on Switch, that has hardware weaker than, and that's what they try to use to justify the $70 for the Switch. And I can only imagine what concessions Bethesda made to even get it. I mean, remember when Witcher 3 was announced on the Switch and everybody's like, see, Switch is powerful, it can do it. And then the game actually came out, and how much cutback CD Projekt Red had to do? They cut so much from that game to get it running on it. So I can't imagine the cutbacks that this Skyrim port is going to go through to get it running on the Switch. How much they just took away and how ugly it's going to look. And it's $70. $70 on the Switch. Anemic hardware that's weaker than the Xbox One with old content. And this is what I'm talking about, bro. And listen, I'm not doubting that it's not going to. In fact, I hope it sells. I hope we see this shit in the charts. Lord, please let this thing chart. It probably will, because it's Skyrim. Skyrim, I mean, god damn, how many times they re-released this game, right? So a lot of Switch players are going to play this, because especially when Switch is not really a great platform for third party. So something as big as Skyrim on the Switch is huge from a perspective of the type of third party games they get. This is crazy. And you see what I'm saying? Like, this is there's a lot of people in the community that's just full of trash. It's just blows my mind, right? That is what we see, right? And I'm just gonna be honest, man. I'm just gonna finish off with this, man. I should have saw it coming. Like, I don't know how I didn't see it coming, but when I now look at this photo, right? And this photo is from 2019. 3 years ago. Look at this. Like, this is not a skit either. Like, you've seen PlayStation skits, right? And you've seen Xbox fanboy skits, right? And they make fun of PlayStation gamers, Xbox gamers, PC gamers, and they exaggerate the fanboyism of these gamers, right? We all seen that. Especially you probably seen more skits about PlayStation gamers than you do Xbox gamers, because a lot of the Xbox influence channels, they put in some time into making skits, making fun of PlayStation gamers, right? And the reality is, I'm gonna be honest, I don't need to make skits about Xbox gamers. I don't need to make up to exaggerate them. They do it in real life. Like, I don't need to make up like a dramatization of the Xbox fanboy. This is like literally them. They just do it. Like, for real. Like, for PlayStation guys, you have to make a skit to exaggerate the fanboyism of a PlayStation guy, right? But this is real. This is like natural. It's like National Geographic. I just gotta go behind the bushes and just snap the photo in their natural habitat. You just gotta catch them in their natural habitat, and this is what you get. You know what I'm saying? And like, I should have seen it coming. I should have prepared myself for next gen and realized this is gonna be different. This gen is gonna be, this is gonna be crazy, right? It's gonna be a wild ride, right? And it's like, bro, at this point, it's just like, yo. And to think, this is like a few months, like everything you see here happening, this is like a few months before COVID. So, like, bro, they literally look at this man. Let me show you this. Look at this. Check this out. Look at homeboy right here. Look at homeboy right here. Like, why is he mesmerized? Like, let me do this. Why is homeboy mesmerized? Look at this guy. He is like staring at this floor. Look at him. He is staring at this floor like it's a prize. Look at this. Look at this dude. Look at him. Look how they just, like, how? Like, what is he really staring at? It's just white paint. It's like they're in the city of Mecca. Like, and I should have seen it coming, man. Like, and as much as I made fun of this picture so many times, I never dawned on me, like, wait a minute, man. Like, something's brewing. Like, I should have anticipated this, but I didn't, man. I just honestly didn't see it. Like, I should have known that something's brewing in that community, man. When I look at that, right? When I look at that now, when I see myself reminded of that, and I see that picture, now certain things make sense. Now, how can I put it? Let me show you another picture. Let me see something else. Like when I see, let me see something. Yeah, I don't need that right now, but let me show you something. Like, this makes sense. Like, when I see, let me see if I can find it. Because now this makes sense. When I see that, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. This makes sense now. Let me see if I can find it. Where you at? This makes sense. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. This makes sense now. This makes sense. It didn't make sense before, but now this makes sense. when a community of gamers like have people who say they don't play games, and they even admit that it's not because of the games. I see it now. At the time when I saw her tweet, it didn't make sense. But now, I get it. I absolutely get it. Like, I absolutely get it. Because the community is this shit. This is craziness. This is the craziness. And you know what's even crazier? Like, you got Xbox gamers that see this. And they don't reflect on themselves. Like, hold up now. Like, they don't even question it. Like they don't see it. They don't see the issue. It's, you know, to them, a gamer going to a store and paying $70 for a game is a bigger issue than that. Like, this is apparently like, what's the problem? But you go and buy a $70 game, or a $70 game made by PlayStation, problem. That's what's wrong with, like, what? Like, yo, like, bro. You really can't have a conversation with this nonsense. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm gonna tell you what, man. I mean, the reality is it's pretty much this, right? I'm gonna start off with the Nintendo community, right? Shout out to the Nintendo community, right? Because at the end of the day, Nintendo community is about the games. They're about holding Nintendo to the standard, and they appreciate the content Nintendo's releasing, and Nintendo is releasing in kind, responding and providing content for their platform. And that's the end all be all for the Nintendo fan base. PC fan base, they don't have a first party provider per se, but what they do appreciate is all the things all these other entities are doing, whether it's the hardware, the services, and Dead Space being $60 by $70, and PC gamers are, you know, content with that. And then any first party game that comes in, if they want it, they will play it and they will enjoy it, and they will enjoy it at better performance if they have the hardware. And you could say that, right? And then obviously with the PlayStation gamers, ultimately we expect Sony to provide the premium, you know, first party experience that we expect from them, and then to go out there and provide new content, get new IPs and stuff like that. And then you have a sector of gamers that they would love to see more remakes of the IPs they love, and they will go out there, they will buy them, and they will play them and beat them. Xbox gamers, I think y'all guys are more into, you know, putting in work for Microsoft and like advertising and spreading the gospel and like talking about Phil Spencer and all this weird shit. Like I don't know, bro. Like I don't get it. Like it is beyond me. Like I can't picture. Like I said, I didn't buy the PS4 until 2015 because it didn't have the games, right? It didn't have the first party games, and it was just a bunch of multi-plats. And that's me being honest with every console. And I was like that with every console. I judge consoles on the merit of the games. I don't know, man. Like, this is crazy. You know, this is wild. This is the wildest gen I have ever seen. This gen is absolutely wild with personality, and it doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense. So, what ultimately PlayStation Nations, what ultimately you can do, I will say this. This is my advice I will give you to the PlayStation gamers. Number one, don't listen to these Xbox gamers that do not hold their own console to a standard, right? They want to talk shit about remakes and remasters, but yet they still won't hold their own platform on the lack of games, period, from the first party. That's just the reality. It's been 2 years. These consoles have been out for 2 years. 2022 has been an absolute disaster for that brand. And they're more worried about PlayStation customer service when these guys are not getting games from their first party at all. And who knows when in 2023 they will get their games, right? Because it's not like Starfield's launching in January. It's going to be a couple of months. It's gonna be a while. I would say probably no sooner than June. So you might not get nothing the first 6 months of content, right? But they want to talk about everything else with the issue. So you PlayStation gamers, right? We're about to get, Ragnarok, God of War in November. It's only a few more weeks, and it's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be top hit of the year, on top of what PlayStation's already done for us. For you racing fans, you got Gran Turismo 7. I don't like that racing shit, right? But then, I did rock with Horizon Forbidden West. Absolutely loved it. Right? And then Sony, doing their thing with their, doing their side deals. They got us Kenya. Sifu was amazing, right? And then for those of you that do like it, boom, you got your Last of Us Remake, Legacy of Thieves collection. And to kick off and end the year with God of War, Ragnarok. Hey, yo, this shit is crazy, right? See, here's a perfect example. My boy, Dark, my baby brother, Dark. He asked a question, and then what? See, this is what I'm talking about. This is the weird shit. He's asking for more from PlayStation when he got nothing from Xbox when it comes to big AAAs. This is what I don't get. Like, again, as I said in the beginning of the show, if I was an Xbox dude, I would just stay quiet. Ain't no way I will talk on any other console, whether it's Nintendo or PlayStation. Oh, what else you got? When I'm like, yo, let me just stay shut, because these motherfuckers ain't even giving me a remaster of anything. I'm going to just stay quiet. I'm going to leave it alone. I'll keep my mouth shut. But like my baby brother, they have the audacity to ask for more from others when they get nothing from this community is wild. I'm telling you, this is why they be kissing the floor. It's crazy. Shout out to Liquid Data. What's good, my brother? He says, what's good? Didn't expect a 60 FPS today. Hey, it's been a while. I know I wasn't able to do one this past Tuesday or last Tuesday. So I said, you know what? Let me do something up. Let me get it up in there real quick. Let me do it early because, we're about to get, a nice holiday weekend and stuff like that. And, and hopefully I hope this sped up your Friday a little bit quicker. Get out of work. Most of us don't do shit at work anyway. You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? I'm telling you, bro, look at this. It's terrible, bro. Terrible. This is terrible, bro. My baby brother got infected with the Kool-Aid. He got infected with the Xbox pox. There's no vaccine for it. Yo, shout out to Salty, man. Hey, again, was on his podcast yesterday. It was an incredible podcast. So incredible, we couldn't even go through all the topics. It was a great conversation and stuff like that. So, if you didn't get a chance to check his podcast out, check it out. It was a great conversation and stuff like that. But yo, this gen, I'm telling you, man. It's crazy. But anyway, so I'm going to cut this off. You know what I'm saying? I want to say, I got 99 likes. Can y'all somebody hit it so I could get up to 100 on the way out? Hit that one like button so we could reach 100. And I hope you guys enjoyed this live show. I will catch you Tuesday for a proper 60 Frames No Lag podcast. Got the crew, and we'll see what topics. One more thing. I'm sorry. Before I leave. Most of y'all know, I guess the Brazilian Commission, whatever, accepted Microsoft's approval for acquisition of Activision. And I'm gonna say this, and I said this a while ago. I personally don't see any reason for anyone to say no. I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. I think the deal is going to go through. I think simply Sony saying that they make money or whatever, blah, 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 they're going to make it exclusive. I don't think the argument of saying that they can go exclusive to Microsoft is an argument. I even said from the beginning that prepare yourselves. When people were saying, no, Call of Duty's never go exclusive, I'm like, oh, no, it's going to go exclusive. Somehow, some way. Maybe not Warzone, but the annual stuff, oh, you best believe that spending $70 billion and they're not going to use that power? Come on now, right? But But right now, Sony's not really bringing up anything that would. I think Brazilian court did say it best. They're not designed. I don't think any, whether it's FTC or European, none of them are designed to protect Sony. The argument has to be, how would this damage the industry? And I don't think anyone has presented a case from an industry perspective, right? And it really is not. Microsoft acquiring Activision in of itself would be considered damaging the industry. You know, would there be a shift? You know, people leaving PlayStation to Xbox, or at least get an Xbox as a secondary platform to play Call of Duty? Absolutely, right? But it's not like 100 million gamers. I would say as good as Call of Duty sells on PlayStation, you're talking about 20 million sales. It's not 50 million. Like, Call of Duty doesn't sell 50 million on PlayStation, right? So 100 million consoles, you don't got 50 million people playing Call of Duty. You still got the same 20 plus million, right? And when then the question is, out of that 20 million or so, how many are actually going to leave PlayStation? I don't think all 20 million is going to leave. I think among that 20 million is people who play Call of Duty, but they don't really care about it. They just play it because it's there. But they're not, you know, the hardcore, I would say, and I'm just throwing out an estimation, I would say there's probably anywhere between 7 to 10 million hardcore, like COD gamers on PlayStation, like hardcore. Like, they will leave PlayStation and jump onto whatever platform. Like, that is their game. I would say it's around 7 to 10 million hardcore. The guys above that, you probably got guys that will get an Xbox, but they will still stay on PlayStation, so they'll play Call of Duty on Xbox, everything else on PlayStation. And then you got the few that's like, whatever, I'll just, don't worry about, you know, that doesn't really impact them, you know. But right now, Sony's not making an argument on why this acquisition should not happen, and I don't think anyone would be. I don't think it's there. But anyway, this is your boy Puerto77. You know what I'm saying? Your only friend is YouTube streets. I will see you guys Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern with the crew. We'll see what other fake outrage these Xbox guys have, other than the outrage they should have, which is games. But hey, you know, apparently that's not important. Anyway, this is your boy. I'm out of here. You guys take care. Shout out to the panel members. Shout out to the new member, Brian Rios. Thank you for showing up. Liquid Data, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everyone that supports the channel. And on your way out, hit the like button. I would truly appreciate it. I can't wait to see you guys on Tuesday. I might drop a video depending if anything crazy or something goes on wrong. Right? Strictly, my brother, what's good? Hey, that's me. See everybody, man. Innate, Mary Wilcox. Hey, I love you guys. Shout out to the chat, man. I'm glad you guys were able to rock out. I hope this made your last hour or so a little bit faster. You know, made you a little time to get out of work. Easy, smoother. You know, do what you do. You guys take care. Peace. Enjoy your weekend.